Say what you want about the diamonds. This is the biggest piece of bullshit in the series. Hey guys, this is Sarcastic Chorus, and welcome to my sarcastic summary of Steven Universe Season 3. As you might have guessed, this is my favorite season. I know, shocking, right? It also contains the most frustrating episode in the show, but we'll get to that. This is the story of Steven Universe, a half-human gem thing that is also somehow his mom. He was raised by his three aunties, Crimes of Passion Pearl, Barely House-Trained Amethyst, and Not Sans Scarlet, accompanied by a cast of likable characters. They try to keep the planet safe from the evil gems of Homeworld, and how the powers of communication can save the day. It's what you say at the end that counts. God, I can't wait to get to Season 5. But let's start Season 3 already. Super Watermelon Island, the episode where they stop pretending and just make Steven Jesus. Waterboy Steven wakes up as a watermelon person. Man, this would be terrifying in real life. A melon dog shows up because Steven can't talk and something has to run its mouth uselessly. Coming to the not Animal Crossing village, which is filled with Steven lookalike melons. Christ the Redeemer Steven is worshipped as a god. Guess they got tired of the subtext. Nose goes is still a thing, despite the whole no nose thing. Watermelon Steven is offered up as a sacrifice because if it's not human, who cares? Also, Malachite's here. Even if you don't remember Malachite, it's the fusion of Rule 34 Lapis and cartoon villain Jasper. Lapis fused with Jasper under false pretenses to lock her up beneath the ocean. Why didn't she do that normally?
Don't worry about it.
The watermelon gets eaten, and the other plush toy wakes up. Everyone doesn't care. Character arc MVP Peridot is panicking as the planet can explode at any minute because of the cluster, but fan favorite Lapis takes priority, so the not very crystal gems go out to get her, leaving Savior Steven behind because danger. But come on, when is this shit ever safe? Rebelling Rebel Steven has to get reminded he's already breaking the rules by existing, so he might as well keep doing it.
Huh, you're right.
Bran Stark steals the body of another watermelon person because good guys. Gar and the rest of Destiny Child fuse into always underwhelming Alexandrite. A fight happens. It's okay, but doesn't really do anything special for me. Always the answer Steven realizes they need his help, so he commands all the perishable fruit to go die for him. So long as they're not human, it's okay. Alexandrite wins, the bad couple is defused, but then the cluster finally starts to wake up and everyone remembers they have important shit to do. And now, it's up to Peridot and Steven to stop the cluster. Gem Drill. A field trip to the center of the earth where feelings save the day. The Munchkins are off to save the world. Drilling down into the deep, they make a horrifying discovery. Half the episode is them stuck in the drill. Homesick Peridot recalls not existing and then just becoming herself. Because if you can't have therapy during a life or death situation, it wouldn't be cartoons. Rando fusions pop up to keep the kiddies engaged. Purist of Paragon Steven talks about how they should help those poor souls by bubbling them. Foreshadowing. Arriving at the cluster, we get a fake out to stretch the runtime some more. The gang tries to break up the cluster by drilling. Their attempts fail. Luckily, they brought Deus Ex Steven along with them. Having a vision, Steven is able to communicate with the cluster. Starboy is able to find out the truth. All this time, the cluster wasn't trying to destroy the planets. It was just lonely.
You want to find other gems? There's so many of you right here.
Gasp. I never would have guessed.
Hang tight, gems. Steven's gonna save all of you.
Kill me! I'm in constant pain!
Yep, save all of you. Now you think it'd be really hard for Steven to bubble up a massive cluster like that, right? Nope. Hooray for no consequences. Same old world.
I can show you the world. This whole new world with you.
Barnmates. Not giving up his couch, Steven forces Lapis and Peridot to room together. Fun episode. Less considerate than you would think, Steven has decided that after spending months trapped with her captor, Lapis should spend time with her other kidnapper, and things do not work out. Not getting it, Peridot doesn't understand why Lapis can't just let go of the past. They try writing a letter. Steven, unless there's drugs in that paper, Lapis doesn't want it. So stop ruining her chill. Next up, Lazy River Peridot makes Lapis a pool. Oh, that's actually kind of thoughtful.
It was an endless, crushing darkness, wet and bleak and suffocating.
Water was the tomb I lived in for those months.
It's the thought that counts. Third time's the charm. Peridot decides to try and give PTSD Lapis her tape recorder, her most prized possession. Congrats, I hate you now. Should have started with this. Peridot gives her a big "I know what you've gone through" speech. Edgelord Lapis tells her to get lost.
You're not even giving her a chance. You should have at least gotten to know her before you decided you don't like her.
And you didn't give her a choice of roommates, dumbass. More drama shows up to force a conclusion. The ship seems to want the show's only funny character. Remember, she has powers. Lapis saves the day. The rest show up. Ship is sailing. Oh, and this worthless gem is here. Hit the diamond. 5 more KOs show up, and they all play baseball before getting tricked into leaving the planet. These two flirt. Pearl is Earl. And I've forgotten everything else about this episode. Next, Steven floats. Steven gets a new power, and I'm 11 minutes closer to death. Drop Beat Dad, the fuck you dad episode. If this episode came out in season 5, it would have ended with Steven forcing them to forgive each other. Because family. Honestly, Static Shock said it best.
Come on, blood is thicker than water, and right and wrong are thicker than blood.
Mr. Greg, Steven Universe on Broadway, and Pearl's finest hour. Okay, so Fat Elvis Greg is now rich because his sleazy partner Marty sold one of his songs as a burger jingle. Well, since this guy looks like a cross between The Simpsons and Rick. Tragedy, the person Pearl reminisces about how Rose would have loved the song. Still awkward Greg kicks off the first song about the wonders of poverty. Let's blow this money. Steven thinks they should go on a trip. Typical sitcom dad Greg thinks they should go to New York City. Okay, Empire City.
And the sounds and the buildings towering, subways that run from Brooklyn to the Bowery, Empire City.
It's overhyped. Forcing people together, Steven decides to ruin the trip by making Greg and Pearl go together. Because in the last 12 years of regret, anger, and bitterness, a trip to New York City will solve everything. So they arrived in Empire City and just start pissing away all their money. Fancy hotels, meals, suits. Pearl is surviving the trip by just hanging out with basically his mom, Steven. 2 bottles in, Greg tries to dance with Pearl, but she is not having it.
I mean, maybe later.
Alright, just put on a pink wig and try again in an hour. Big number Pearl watches the humans sleep and starts her song, which is all about her starting to realize Rose is dead. And to top it off, she chose the smelly human over Pearl. It's a wonderful song, but credit to Robot Buddies, the visuals are a bit lackluster. They could have done so much more with it. But then again, this is literally just Steven's point of view. The family heard everything. TV catharsis happens, where Pearl and Greg share a song and make amends. This would never happen in real life, but we don't watch TV for realism. So after that wonderful tale of love and loss, we get a Kevin episode. Because there's no better romantic palate cleanser than a fuckboy. BC Drift. Stevani races Kevin. The lesson is jerks are a waste of time, so don't engage them. Alone at Sea. A surprise Aesop about abuse, and I think Courage the Cowardly Dog did this one better. The story begins with Trust Fund Steven taking Depression Lapis on a boat ride, trying to help Lapis reconnect with water. Steven, therapist. Setting sail, they have some boat shenanigans before they stop to fish. Push and pull Lapis is getting back into it. Fishing fails, then the ship breaks. Setting up the reveal, Lapis talks about how she just can't stop thinking about being together with Jasper again. Of course. So, sudden girlfriend Jasper pops up, and turns out this whole episode is a message about abusive relationships. No, sorry, this whole episode just kind of fails for me. Why is that? Well, to start off, Lapis is the abusive one. Or at least we only see her being abusive. Jasper was forceful at the start, but Lapis is the one who enters their relationship under false pretenses, binds them to the bottom of the ocean when she really didn't have to. They don't want to tell us this was comparable to a romantic relationship between abusive partners when it has more in common with Bowser and Princess Peach. It was mutually abusive, man. It's to show how people get into this mentality and like being cruel to one another, but they should stay separate. Yeah, but who gets the line? It's Jasper who gets the typical, I've changed bit. The story is framing Jasper as the abuser, while the text saying it's more mutual. If you show this to a kid, all they're gonna understand is that Jasper's a bad guy, and Lapis should stay away from her. So this is just one of those few times where I think the Crewniverse are trying to say a message, but I feel like they really dropped the ball. But that's just my opinion. Sudden Whoopi Jasper gets punted into next week, and Steven cheers for emancipated abuser Lapis. Haha, they sunk the ship. Clever. Greg the babysitter. Flashback to Greg babysitting, and we find out that maybe it's for the best that Rose never lived to be a parent. Crack the whip. Run to the litter. Amethyst's ego takes another hit when she gets her ass beat by Jasper. Steven versus Amethyst. Overcompensating Amethyst realizes she's the worst gem now. Fight Steven to see who's the new team bitch. Spoiler alert, it's both of them. Bismuth. We meet an old crystal gem, then forget about her for another 2 seasons. Okay, let's dig into this train wreck. Mundane Steven is sucking at video games. Pink Lion is eating a shirt, then decides to hide the shirt in Lion's pocket dimension. Skinny Branch plus Steven equals comedy. Laying on a bubble gem that no curiosity Steven just never questioned or asked the other gems about. It's like they want to make Steven an idiot all the time to keep these plots from all happening in season 1. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Get Shit Done Bismuth. The gem that was so real the writers had to seal her away to keep her from hijacking the plot. So, Spot Check Steven tells the other gems about this mysterious gem in Lion's mane, deciding to pull her through. So yeah, they know each other. Turns out Crazy Eyes Bismuth was a part of the OG Crystal Gems, but mysteriously disappeared. Also this line.
Hey, did somebody lose a pearl? Who do you belong to?
Rose. The answer is Rose. Super Chill Bismuth immediately accepts that Steven isn't Rose, because she's just that cool. Until she finds out everyone she knew is dead, and takes about as well as you'd expect. Wow. A crystal gem that actually wants revenge. Finally, a non-G reaction to war and genocide. What this show has been missing, Bismuth takes them to her old armory, passing out weapon upgrades like their Halloween candy. Good point Amethyst states the obvious.
Sorry, I don't know. I mean, she's one of the original crystal gems, and no one ever mentioned her to me, not even Rose? Don't you think that's a little bit, suspicious?
Counterpoint, when has anyone talked about anything in this house that didn't involve Steven? Y'all suck at communication. Get some light sparring practice in, and out of nowhere, suddenly a wimp Steven doesn't like fighting, despite 3 seasons of examples to the contrary. Always right Steven then starts showing some Earth games, because Steven values are the right values. Later in the night, Bismuth and Steven get to talking. Former drone Bismuth recounts how she was just a cog in the Empire, but Rose inspired her to be her own gem. Mom was a saint. Steven feels like he can't measure up to Rose. Bitch please Bismuth finds this hilarious. Taking him back to her armory, she unveils her masterpiece that will revolutionize the way they fight. The Breaking Point, which is a drill gun meant to shatter enemy gems, because apparently the rebellion never killed anyone when they fought. Only bubbled. Damn, they must have had insane storage space. Kid show morality Steven doesn't like it, not one bit.
Shattering gems. Wouldn't that make us the same as Homeworld?
And that is my one and only response to the no better than them argument, which is a bullshit, discussion-killing waste of nothing that I hate. Privileged 12-year-old tells the 10,000-year-old freedom fighter that they don't do things this way, because peaceful protest is the only kind of protest we're allowed to support. Turns out Rose said the same thing and poofed Bismuth because of it, locking her away for eternity. And how is that any different from dying? In the right, Bismuth thinks Steven is just Rose in disguise and tries to attack him. Self-defense Steven stabs Bismuth, who cries and acknowledges that maybe Steven is better than Rose. As he says he'll tell the other gems what happened. They unbubble Bismuth to talk about what happened. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Unbubble her right now and talk about this. This is fucking bullshit. Fine, go ahead, lock all your problems away and wait for Steven to solve them, just like everything else. Okay, that was a bit uncalled for. But this ending really pissed me off. Beta. Peridot is adorable, and the shorty squad accidentally stumbles upon Jasper's dogfighting ring. Earthlings. Amethyst and Steven get rid of all the tension between them by fusing. Jasper is finally defeated. The shorty squad discover that actual tragic character Jasper has been caging corrupted quartz fusions to use as an army to defeat the crystal gems. Axe to grind Amethyst tries to go in for the stealth kill, but ain't no scrub Jasper is unimpressed. Can't pick up her own slack Amethyst gets her ass kicked. Jock Jasper is thoroughly disappointed that Geek Peridot is still alive. Woe is me Amethyst doesn't think she can beat the physically perfect Jasper, being an overcooked runt and all. Token therapist Steven tells her she's wrong, that she's a one-of-a-kind accident like him, and they aren't wrong in any way. So fuck the people that say otherwise. They fuse, marking the last well-executed Steven fusion. Together they make Smoky Quartz. Ness moveset Smoky beats up solo Jasper, who is so desperate to win, she fuses with one of the beasts, transforming into a Lionel. This fails, they break apart. They really dig into the she's lonely angle.
Nobody I fuse with ever wants to stay.
Try cooking them breakfast next time. The corruption has infected Jasper, helps everyone Steven tries to help her, but she is having none of it. Rants about how Rose treats people like Pokemon, beating them down till they have nothing left, then helping them up, which immediately makes it okay. States the obvious Jasper gets the big reveal.
My diamond! Your diamond! Big diamond!
Yo, fans figured this out in season 1, keep up. Now a monster, she gets taken out by Peridot of all people, because she did nothing the whole episode and needed a win. They return home for some much needed setup, back to the moon. So the red minions are back and are easily tricked, get the reveal that Mama killed Pink Diamond, and somewhere, not a hypocrite Bismuth is laughing in her gem. Bubbled. Steven is floating in space with a crazed afro, nearly dies. Ruby gets carsed. Steven is rescued and now has to deal with the fact that his mom wasn't perfect. And that's the end of the best season of Steven Universe. A lot of great character moments, a lot of wasted potential, and the space alien war stuff is increasingly becoming more of a complication than a benefit. Did they hit it out of the park mostly? I think so. Definitely whiffed it when it came to side characters though, because they just didn't know how to integrate them into the main cast. But also, still an enjoyable watch. Alright, that's all I wrote. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay cool, Sarcastic fans.